What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we're cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines, and who better to join me today than Aiden? Why don't you say what's up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Sandwich, where we always got our patents approved.
Uh, yeah, you're gonna need that one. And before we get into today's topic, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that are liking these videos, subscribing to Game Sandwich, and if you're new here, do all that and join our community Discord. Links to that is in the video description down below. But here we are. We are gathered here today to once again talk about Pokemon versus Palworld. This time, we actually have some brand new developments other than Nintendo submitting a patent. In this case, patent got denied, and that's pretty big news considering everything that's gone into this. Now, I'm going to pull from Insider Gaming's own Sam Simpoli, and this is coming from a report done from GamesFray. Nintendo's rejected patent application 2024-031879 was a subclaim of one of anti-Palworld monster capturing patents and a parent of another. It was dismissed for a lack of an inventive step, meaning it did not involve an innovative idea that was not an obvious combination of the two, or a more pre-existing concepts. Several games were cited as prior for references. It also said through a third-party patent submission of prior art, this step existed before Nintendo's December 2021 priority date, with games such as Studio Wildcard's Ark, Capcom's Monster Hunter 4, Pocket Pair's Craftopia, Kentai Collection, Pokemon Go using it. However, the refusal was non-final, meaning Nintendo can either abandon this patent, which I don't think they're going to do, and they're going to file a new patent with amended claims. So, a lot of legal talk there. But Aiden, what are the vibes? We're feeling good? We're Palworld 1? We're in the clear?
Essentially, is the monster ball capture mechanic thing, you know, got denied. So, Nintendo, why don't you just accept the fact that you did not innovate things and that you did not come up with the mechanic? You know, why don't you just admit to you using mechanics that have already been existing in other games and that you just want to claim them for yourself because you're selfish? I'd feel good, in other words. I should probably have led with that, but I feel good that Nintendo got denied something for once.
It's reading this story, like at face value, covering the story from literal start to now, it doesn't come as a surprise because it's like we've said in prior videos, what they're filing for is something that has either been done before, like before them, or just way too broad to like follow through on, because it's like you can't, like, I can't come here on YouTube and say the two-person talking, like two heads talking about video games, like that's us, we made that, like ignore like IGN, ignore Kinda Funny, ignore all those other channels that are doing great work, that like, hey, we did it first. That's basically what they're doing here.
Yeah, it's what they've been doing this whole time. I
Right.
mean, what did Nintendo accomplish? What did the Company accomplish other than like literally stealing from Dragon Quest?
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on here. They want to claim anything, they stole stuff from Dragon Quest. You know, they took mechanics, like they can take mechanics in Pokemon Legends Arceus from other games, and then they're just like, nope, we created this. No, 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 no. It was all us. It was all us. You know, creatures walking around out in the wild. Ark didn't do that. Ark didn't do that before us. We
No.
did it.
Yeah, we
We
love
did it.
Ark on this channel, by the way. Shout out to the streams. But there was a point made, like through Games Fray article, where it was saying instead of just now looking at patent documents and articles, it's more of now they're looking at other games, and this is where that conversation we had about like they there's a lot they're going for in the broad sense versus refined stuff. If they were going for refined mechanics that you've only seen in like Pokemon games, and I'm gonna pull a random one as an example, but like terrestrialization. Again, you can say another game
Yeah.
did it somewhere, whatever. But you get what I'm saying, like for the first time you've seen that within Pokemon, it's like, oh, that makes more sense to go for. And again, personally, despite all of this being denied, I certainly believe if Nintendo is willing to drag it on this much, they will come back with an amended form. And again, what's that amended form going to be? I honestly don't know.
They definitely will be coming back with a vengeance here. They're going to be salty as all hell that they got denied something for once in their life. And they're basically going to turn into that 16-year-old rich girl who like got denied something on her 16th birthday and she's going to throw a fit. You know, that's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, "Oh man, we got denied. Okay, we're going to come back with like 3 more patents basically, I bet." And it's going to be like, now we're going to refine it even more where it's like instead of just a ball throwing mechanic, it's specifically like, "Oh, the ball is X amount in diameter and this and that," and it's gonna be really, really freaking refined, like exact dimensions included, distances, whatever, you know. Guarantee you that's gonna happen.
And it's not to say through this whole process for Palworld and what they've been going through, they've made amended changes to their game to meet the demands of Nintendo, where it's like they changed, I believe it was the glide mechanic or something like that. I remember there was something fundamentally changed about Palworld.
But they changed the ball throwing mechanic too, didn't they? Just make it a launcher now instead or something?
I think that's what it was too. Where it's like, okay, like if you're looking at this as a judge, again, not a legal expert here, but they've made the changes and now it's like Nintendo, or the Pokemon Company in this case, more or less. It's like, you've had your fun. Let's, like, clearly there's nothing left here to discuss. And this also, like, this is, again, I want to confirm if this is in the Tokyo or the Japan-based court system, because I believe they did a claim there. Yeah, Japan. And they did something here in the United States. I'm very interested to see how that carries over to here, if there is something here in the States as well, because now you're sitting here going, oh, like, a decision was made, and now there are plenty of other choices to be made following this of all the other patents they've gone after, which I think, again, this starts to poke holes in a lot of what they're doing.
Oh, it definitely does. And like you were mentioning about like, oh, if they were to patent specific mechanics that are unique to Pokemon, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You know, like you mentioned terrestrialization. If they said, "Oh, okay, we're gonna patent the idea of a creature getting coated in crystals and becoming a different breed or
Whatever
different
they
type
are.
or whatever," there you go. That in itself is a new mechanic that is solely focused on Pokemon. And I mean, no offense to, well, I guess very much offense to Nintendo. Nobody would be stupid enough to do that because it's a dumb mechanic. I mean,
Yeah, people didn't
only
like that.
Pokemon would do something as gimmicky and terrible as that. But I mean, really though, but it's like the rest of the patents are just like, oh, it's the equivalent of, hey, we have a potion in our game. We're gonna patent the idea of potions in a game. Nobody
Oh,
else can heal using a potion.
that's what it was. Smooth switching between flying objects. That was the other the gliding thing I was talking about earlier. But,
Yeah.
like,
Which they couldn't easily get that denied because there's so many games that did that before them.
yeah, it's so. It's. it's. I'm
Didn't
not going to
Ark
say.
have a glider before them?
No. I maybe.
I thought
Call
Ark
in
did.
the ARC expert Andrew wherever he is. We gotta bring him in. But this is I was about to say, like, this is kind of funny or like stupid the way they're going about this. But again, this is what happens. And whenever we talk about specific companies patenting certain broad mechanics for a game, the prime one I look at is the Nemesis system, and how that system is so beautiful, unique, can create very good games. But now the studio behind that, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just pulling out of my memory bank here. I think that studio is closed, which means that patent is now on a shelf collecting dust, and no one else can use the Nemesis system. It was going to be in that Wonder Woman game, allegedly. It's been in the Lord of the Rings games, which those are very good, fun, interesting games. It's like, don't you think that, like, hell, Generation 10, imagine if there was the Nemesis, again, just imaginary land here, but what if there was a Nemesis system in the Pokemon game? Granted, they would definitely file a patent for that saying it's ours now, whatever, but you get the idea of very innovative, fun, and creative ideas being locked behind a patent can be very detrimental to gaming as a whole, because you're robbing not only, like, the developers of their creative ideas, but consumers that would so be willing to play a game like that. You're robbing them of that.
You definitely are. And I was just thinking while you were talking about that, what happened to the day and age of like copyright where like if you create it, it's auto copyrighted? Like what happened to the day and age of that? Because there's like that exists where it's like if you write the idea of like, let's say like I write the idea of a game or whatever, and then someone creates that game, and but I had the idea for it first. Technically, it was copyrighted that I wrote that.
Yeah.
You know, and so they would have to change it based off of what I had already written. Why does that not exist in this? Like, why is it not like oh, hey, you know, whoever created the glider mechanic or whatever in a game, then why is it that Nintendo suddenly can patent that? Why is that like just okay
Yeah.
for them to be able to do, and not like a huge like legal stink here where it's like, oh, you tried to patent this, and well, guess what? We created this, you know?
So, real quick, to bring facts to the table here, Monolith Studio was the people behind it, and that mechanic is now locked, like, under lock and key on a shelf collecting dust somewhere until the 11th of August of 2036. Think, regardless of, like...
11 years.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, it's like, think about... not only like Lord of the Rings games that could use that, or Monolith, rest in peace, you know, that stuff, but like 11 years is practically a full AAA game development cycle. Like we could have had a game, like again, they could have been working on stuff prior, the Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, do you know how many Kingdom Hearts games we could have by then?
Yeah, one, a whole one, maybe a 0.5, who knows? But again, this is the slope we go down. And then I think about how EA has the rights to Madden and like NFL. They are the only ones that can create that game. I know you're not a sports game person, but this is a constant conversation that people have in that space where it's like, we miss the days when we got like an NFL Street, or like there was NFL 2000 or whatever, where it's like, they offered up a first-person perspective inside the helmet to play football. It's like we are missing innovation because people are just so staunch in being like, this is ours. It's like Pokemon. You are the top-selling, most grossing IP in the world. You have nothing to worry about at this point. So it's like...
you released a completely lackluster game that's absolutely terrible, and you sold millions of copies.
It sold
millions. You are capable.
Yeah, again, it's like, no, people will still buy your games. Even, let's remove the games part out of it all. You still got the cards, you still got the show, you still got the plushes that people will buy, you still got the life-size Gardevoir friggin' stuffed animals that creepy people are going to buy and do weird stuff too.
We'll support you.
Yes, it's like you have so much other things that it's like, again, when we talked about Microsoft and how like gaming is a drop in the bucket for them, this stuff is like, no, like come on, like this isn't, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it at this point. But any final thoughts here for this whole Palworld Nintendo thing?
I think that the world would be a better place if all game companies just had a whole thing where they created a like pact basically where they said, we cannot patent any game mechanics. None. Like when one is created, it is just free use. It is fair use for everybody to be able to use it. We need that.
The free use thing kind of scares me because we've seen what people are doing with the Disney IPs, like the Pooh Bear, and I think they're doing a horror.
I'm not saying like a character. I'm saying a game mechanic.
I'm just saying free use kind of gets weird. I mean, I've watched that Pooh Bear movie, and it was a little weird, and I think they're doing a Steamboat Willie one. But we're here to talk about games. I'm not creepy Disney movies are a whole other thing we can do. But yeah, we're gonna pass it off to you. Actually, wait. Last question. In 2 to 3 months, do you think we do another Palworld v Pokemon video about this patent stuff? Like they come back? I think so.
It's been slowing down, but yeah, I could see another like 3 months from now.
Yeah.
It's been slow. It's been slow now, but
yeah, they're tapering.
I could see 3 to 4 months maybe.
They're tapering off. But speaking of tapering off, we're gonna pass it off to you guys. What do you think about the newest developments in Pokemon v Palworld? Drop a comment down below or join our community Discord to talk to us directly about this stuff. But for this episode of Community Kitchen, I've been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time.
Can't wait to see how many people defend Nintendo.
If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.